All right. Well, I am here with Rob McDonell. He is the con chairman of SpoCon 2008. Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Jim.
Now, tell me about SpoCon. What made you guys decide to restart it?
Well, as you know, there was a SpoCon here back in the 80s. InCon was then here after that, and that went away in 2003, I believe it was. And so what had happened is back in December 2006, we got together, well, rather some community members of the Spanish community got together and said, hey, wouldn't it be cool to have a con back here in Spokane again? And they knew that I had been involved with InCon before and was heavily involved in the gaming community and go to other cons and stuff like that. So they came to me and said, hey, what do you think? And so we just started talking about everything, and eventually we got the idea together, created a board of directors, started working on ConCom, and knew that from the beginning it was important, even though we're all gamers, to avoid a pure gaming convention, because the business history of conventions that are pure gaming is not good as far as long-term success. And we knew that in the Inland Northwest that full spectrum science fiction fantasy conventions are where it's at. That's what the people want, and if that's what the customer base wants to see, that's what we're going to give them for a product.
All right. Now, I do have a question. There are a lot of conventions out there. I don't know about Spokane specifically because unfortunately I'm pretty much tied to Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle has several conventions in the area. What makes SpoCon unique, aside from the fact that it's located in Spokane, where unfortunately there aren't that many left?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a really great question, actually, because Spokane, as you can see right outside the window here from the student lounge, it's gorgeous here.
Yeah, for those of you who didn't know, we are at Gonzaga University, and the campus is just absolutely fantastic. It is absolutely gorgeous. We're sitting there by a river. It's slowly moving by. No white caps. It's just this beautiful scenery. So.
Yeah, that's just one of the reasons why we picked Gonzaga, because we knew it was going to be in the summer. We wanted to find a appropriate time to place the convention so that we weren't really butting heads with too many other conventions. The fact of the matter is there's a lot of conventions in the Northwest. So when you look at it that way, it's like, well, what's the most convenient time? And summertime's a great time. We know that campus is out here at Gonzaga, and we can get in on this beautiful campus here. And the space was right, too. While we are in 4 buildings, they're relatively close to one another. And what that does is gives the opportunity for expansion in the future. So what we have now is we have the availability to put a lot of wargaming in the Cataldo Hall as we have it set up for now, tournaments in the College Hall. We've got the Crosby Center set up purely for land gaming, and in the basement we've got the dance, the underground dance. And then as you can see here with the Jepson building, we've got the literary panels, we've got the art show, masquerade, we've got a gorgeous, gorgeous auditorium with the Wolf Auditorium. The student lounge, it's just all come together for a wonderful package to put a convention in. And let's face it, with fandom, there's a lot of fans in this area. They've been wanting a con since InCon went away, and I think you can see it with our attendance records thus far.
Speaking of that, how many do you have so far? What's your attendance level?
Right now, last time I went up, and this is about an hour ago, went up to registration, and the numbers were about 650.
That is pretty good for technically a first-time convention.
Yeah, I think a ConCom defines the history of a con. So you can have the same name from years prior or what have you, but with the Dynamite ConCom that we have, I've just been blessed to have that kind of volunteer ConCom to come together. And yeah, 650-ish, right now as we sit here on Saturday at 2 o'clock, that's huge. Really, a first-year con, that is absolutely phenomenal. I'm just so happy about it.
I'm especially impressed with the fact that you got Tim Zahn, Mark Ferrari, you got a lot of other great guests. You got Vixie and Tony of Filk fame, and they're pretty hot on the Filk circuit. And you got some other fantastic guests. How did you, for a first-time con, how did you guys manage to score that?
Well, that's a really great question, and it's one I'm very happy to answer. When I spoke earlier of the absolute blessing that this convention has had with its convention committee, Randy and Shar McKay are my guest pro liaisons for this year. and they're formerly from Salt Lake City, where they helped run Conduit for many, many years.
And Conduit is the convention down in Utah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it absolutely is. And getting quality people together, giving the convention enough time to plan appropriately as a business would, and using those quality people to really get at the aspects of each department that are going to make for a fun convention and give the customers and fandom what they want is what it's all about, and that's what we put together. I've got a ConCom of 41 people, and that in and of itself for a first-year con is amazing.
That is impressive for a first-time convention to have that many ConCom.
I agree, yeah, and I just really do want to emphasize that again. You know, with the ConCom, that's what it's been all about. You know, everybody's got a skill set, and I've had many people come up to me and say, "Oh, Rob, you're the chair, and you're doing such a great job." And I just always like to point out the fact that, you know, it's the ConCom, it's the security, it's the henchmen, it's all of the volunteers and fandom that come together to make this happen. And, you know, I've got my stop sign and my traffic light that I, use to try to push people in one direction or another to make things flow well. But without those people working as diligently and hard as they do, it wouldn't happen.
Well, I will tell you that because all the ConCom that I've talked to, they've been very nice. You know, you guys have been busy and doing everything, yet at the same time, you've been absolutely friendly.
That was a big thing. You know, I've been to conventions all over the United States and in other countries, and I've taken notice that, certain conventions, I won't name them, I mean, there's no reason to do that, but, you go to certain conventions and you just get this feeling that they don't care. It's like, okay, we got your money, you're out. And we don't want that because, in my opening ceremonies, I really focused on tolerance and unity, acceptance. That has always been a staple of fandom. When you go to a con, it doesn't matter if you're black or white or Asian or if you're male or female or you're handicapped or you're not. It's never mattered. And that kind of unity and tolerance made me think, as the president of the corporation and the chairman of the con, well, if that's how it is in people accepting one another for their fanish ways and such, why should we not run a convention the same way? And so I just very much made it a part of our convention committee beliefs that we should offer that system of beliefs right back to the fanish community, because that's what I'd want if I went to a convention.
Well, and again, you've done a fantastic job. It's still only Saturday in the middle of the afternoon, and it's been one of those things where Murphy can always pop his head up and who knows. But I'll tell you, even if he does, even if the worst happens, so far I think you guys will be able to handle it quite well. So I'm gonna, I don't have a reputation to stake on it, but I'm gonna say that this is gonna be a fantastic convention by the time it's done. And I want to thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Absolutely. I'm glad to have you here, Jim. I mean, not only as a member of the media, but also to have you here as just a fan and a person who likes to go to conventions.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Rob.
No problem.
We'll hope to see you next year.
Oh, you will. You will indeed. Thanks.
I scream and shout so you can hear. I tell you that the end is near. I still can't stand, I still can't think. You win me with my favorite drink. Give me that glass, oh I feel asinine. And if I can't grump, I'll drink plum wine.